What's up, everybody? Let's get this live reaction show on with. And like I said in the chat, it's not going to be it's not going to be a long show. We're going to get into it and we're going to get off, just like UConn with that dub. Nothing pretty.
Let's get it. 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 Yeah. UConn, baby. Home of the champions. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Hoops Cap Live, sponsored by Home Field Apparel, a network-wide sponsor. Go check out homefieldapparel.com. I think you get 15% off if you download their app and it's your first purchase. Other than that, this is a Home Field Apparel shirt right here. A Huskies baseball tee, 1970s version. I loved it. Just came in today. I also have this really cool UConn Women's National Championship shirt that I'll be wearing tomorrow. Also sponsored by Vancord, locally here in Connecticut, a UConn alum. They service Connecticut, Providence, Massachusetts, maybe some surrounding areas. If you need any help with cybersecurity, maybe you're just not sure, maybe you need an audit of your technical defenses. You know, up until these last couple games, the pitch to Vancord was, yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about there being defensive players of the week. I don't know if we can give away too many defensive players of the week the last couple times. But anyway, Vancord, manage, defend, respond. If you need them, check out vancord.com. And also, I think you can call the number 24-hour support. That's 855-VANCORD, VANCORD. Now, let's get into the meat of the show. UConn went into Hinkle. Got to give them a little, Butler credit. Walk out with a 10-point win. Huskies are now 23-2 on the season, 13-1 in Big East play, sitting alone in first place, half a game up on St. John's, who they don't have the tiebreaker with, clearly. And I know what you're thinking because I'm thinking the same thing. Mark, that doesn't feel like an 80-70 game from the number 6 team in the country. And you're right, because it doesn't. But we're going to talk about it. Short show tonight. I'm exhausted. I've been working since about 7 o'clock this morning, but I'm sure most of you have as well. And so first things first, got to credit Butler. And I mean that this was not a Butler team that came in full strength and they didn't lay down. It's a home game. Braylon Mullins is coming to Indiana as the Indiana basketball player of the year last year, Gatorade player of the year, and had a pretty good game. And it was good, successful homecoming for him. But, if you're this Butler team, you kind of want to beat this team and this player. They've never beaten UConn before. They were shooting the ball well from the outside. They're moving the ball, getting good looks. They were knocking them down, and it was one of their better offensive performances in Big East play this year. And you got to understand the context here. Butler has been through it lately. They went through a brutal 4-game losing streak, got blasted at St. John's at the Garden, lost to Georgetown, went to double overtime with Providence, came out the wrong end of that, 97-87. That's a tough stretch. That Adamada's group has been absolutely reeling, and I know it's a guy that Dan absolutely respects, as do I. And they finally snapped out of it against Seton Hall last time behind 25 from Finley Bizjack, but who also left the game today with a wrist injury. Doesn't look good for him. So prayers up to Finley. Hopefully he's okay. And, they came out here playing with house money. I hate the term. It's their Super Bowl. I just feel like it's played out. I think the bottom line is when you're not the most talented team in the world and you're starting to lose the players that were talented on your team to injury, you just come out and do the best you can. And playing at Hinkle is one of the best home environments in all of college basketball. They came out, were aggressive, punched UConn in the mouth, and they weren't intimidated. And honestly, frankly, I don't think any team is super intimidated with UConn at the moment because I feel like people are super aggressive on UConn because they know that UConn runs so much action that they can get away with holding and hooks. And honestly, I think part of the idea is, like my buddy Casey always says, is that it's like you just keep grabbing and holding until they actually call it. It's like a football player. If your quarterback's about to get rocked, you hold that defensive end so you don't get beat on a game altering sack. So I don't think there's much difference when we're talking about UConn's offense and all the movement that it has. So. But kudos to Butler. They held on for as long as possible. UConn went on a run towards the end to kind of seal the deal. Let's check out your comments here. like I said, I'm exhausted, guys. So, yeah, Solo played well. I feel like, it's one of those things where he actually looks like, a good player. And by the way, guys, I'm not the only one that doesn't is not interested in tonight's game as much as, let's say, the rest. And this is no disrespect to Butler. It's just these late games that we're kind of like sleepwalking through. It kind of makes me feel like the fan base is sleepwalking through them too, and that we're a little selfish with that. There's only like 50 people watching this, and that's not a lot. Usually we're well in the 500s. As many as 2,000 people have been on this show this year, all over platforms. Honestly, man, like I'm just exhausted. I think part of that is fatigue of the season, fatigue of work, and dealing with kids and all that good stuff. But I will tell you this UConn team is going to have issues all the rest of the year. It's just who they are. Where do you start, right? A win's a win. It's a road game, hostile environment. At some point, you got to stop saying they'll figure it out and just accept that this is who they are. This is a team that's going to give you stretches of brilliance. And I mean genuine elite level of basketball, offense, defense, everything. And then followed up with 5 or 6 minutes where they look completely disengaged or lost. The turnovers, defensive lapses, the possessions where they potentially settle, or they are too unselfish. It's kind of it's frustrating, but this is who they are. So when you're sitting here watching and you sit back and maybe you tell me, "Oh, Mark, you're such a nitpicker." You know what? Maybe I am, but also maybe you don't know what you're watching. I think that most people typically watch sports as an outlet. I watch sports as a job, and I'm not sitting here trying to lecture you. I think the point is that UConn fans are smarter than most fan bases in the country because we know what winning looks like. We know what teams that actually win championships look like. And right now, if you look at their record on paper, it's a championship level team. But on the eyeball test, when you just watch, I think there's a lot of questions. I think this team is a second weekend team for sure. I just think in an NCAA tournament, it's so hard to get up for UConn. Especially you win that first game, you're, right now they're a 1 or a 2 seed. So I would be shocked if they lost the first game. Then you probably have a favorable matchup in the second game. So you're likely going to win that because there's not a big turnaround for that, right? You're playing a 8 or a 9, or you're playing a 7 or a 10, and unless they have an epic collapse, they win that game. So in the Sweet 16, and that's when I feel like it will get dicey. I don't think this team, and I'm going to say this for the first time this year, I think they're looking less like a Final Four caliber team. But it doesn't mean that they won't get there because, as we all know, whether it's the 7-seeded Ryan Boatwright, Shabazz Napier led team that stunned everybody and went on a crazy run, or the Kemba led teams, those teams got hot at the right times, and it led to national championships. It's kind of like I always tell some of my colleagues in the media, don't let UConn get hot and get to the Final Four because we don't lose in the Final Four. If you're going to lose, if UConn's going to lose this year, it better be early because the more this team starts to get a rhythm, the better off they are. And right now, I just still feel like they're not in a rhythm. But they can listen. No one's ever cared about an ugly winning national championship. Just ask Jim Calhoun and this team right here, the 2011 national championship over Butler. Look at that score, 53-41. If we won every game the rest of this year, 53-41, would anybody in the chat give a shit about metrics? Not me. Hell no. So just remember that. Yeah, Jose, like I don't disagree with you, man, but like things can change in a heartbeat. So I think for the first time this year, I'm willing to take that back, that this team is not a Final Four team, at least not yet. But maybe that's just who they are. But also, maybe the advantage is that they're not going through all this wear and tear like these Big 12, Big 10 teams are, and SEC teams. And the fact that they're playing a lax a schedule that's not as great, maybe that's what propels them to the Final Four. Who knows? If anyone wants to come on the show quickly, because like I said, I'm not spending too much time tonight on this. I think all has been said about this team, and we just gotta get to some better games. And there's the link if you want to join. I'm gonna send a message to my guy Little Red if he's interested, and if not, it's all good. But feel free to jump on the show. If you don't want to show your face, just turn your camera off when you jump on. Link is in the chat. But yeah, it's a weird team right now. They're great. All these kids are awesome. Like, they're great kids. Silas is a wonderful kid. Terrace is a wonderful kid. Alex, Alex could be the freaking president of the United States. He's just such a great presence. I just think that they're all missing a little bit of that dog. We don't have a Cam Spencer. Yeah, listen, bro, I agree. No, Rogue, I don't listen. Do you see the logos? I'm not shitting on the Big East. I'm saying that the Big East is. Do you think that the Big East is as good as the Big 12? No. Is the Big East as tough of a conference as even the ACC? No. And that's kind of sad. And there's not a huge gap between the Big East and the ACC, but there's a chasm of a gap between the Big East and the Big 12, and the Big East and the Big 10. So I mean, like, I'm just being honest. Like, I make a living off of content from the Big East, but it's not what we thought it was going to be this year. In fact, it's kind of like in the middle of it. We've had some surprise teams. Butler first net ranking was like top 20. That's kind of faded, but yeah, I mean. Yeah, but David, all of these comparisons to other teams, like, stay in the present. The 23-24 team played in a much deeper Big East. Marquette was good. Even Seton Hall should have made the NCAA tournament. Providence should have made the NCAA tournament. They didn't. We had 4 or 5 teams make the NCAA tournament, and probably should have had 6 or 7. That's not what this league is this year. Now, is it like a mid-major? No, it's not. It's essentially like the ACC was last year or the year before. But that's helping UConn, in my opinion, keep themselves fresh if they can get up for big games. The problem is, if they don't get up for games, it's almost like culture shock. That's just not debatable at this point. If you only play 2 or 4 games all conference play that push you physically beyond the limits, St. John's twice, Villanova twice, maybe Seton Hall twice, talking about physically, like physically push you, not mentally. You're playing in at the Rock, all that stuff. David, do you want to come on the show and talk about it? Because I have no idea what you're talking about. Look how Texas played against us. What does that mean? We played like shit against Texas. We played like shit. Texas didn't play well. When we play like shit, other teams look better because they're getting up for the game, and I understand that. But it doesn't mean who we're playing outside of, think about the conference that we're playing in. Forget about the non-conference. Sometimes these games, like you played Baylor last year, Baylor sucks. So yeah, I mean, like, I also think you're right. Like, I think right here, Jose, like, Alex has not been shooting the ball well the last few games. He's kind of in a slump. I don't mind Braylon shooting 1 million shots a game because I think he's really good. And I just think they need to figure out a way to get him more open. That's all. Because when he's wide open, I mean, he barely misses. UConn opened the game with 2 turnovers from Terrace and Silas. Have to come out a bit more poised. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, if you heard Dan at halftime, he was kind of like dumbfounded, and I was with him. All right, guys, no one wants to come on. Totally fine. Listen, I love you guys. Go get some home field apparel. Your boy really appreciates it. If this is what you listen to, and even if you don't listen to a lot of podcasts on Apple, Spotify, other places, download all those apps, download all of our shows, and really try to get into this Big East world. I'm not spilling the beans right now, but there's a lot of new stuff coming down the pike in terms of content, national content. If you go to BigEastEnergyNetwork.com, you can find all kinds of written articles if that's the thing. Before I go, I want to respond to David here. Yeah, that's cool. A lot of these, listen, when you have us on the schedule, it's a little easier to game plan because if you're aware, if it's your first time playing UConn and Dan and all the actions, it's tougher. But so that is an advantage, 1,000%. And I agree that Big East teams have an advantage to scouting UConn because they know what's coming. But when you're the better team, you take teams out. I have a question for you. If that's the case, then why does Michigan blow out teams in the Big Ten who are inferior? Not the teams that are like equal to them or even teams that are a little below them. This UConn team this year doesn't have the killer instinct. Let's just call it what it is. And I'm so over comparing this team to any of the championship teams. It is not comparable. Maybe they can get to there. Keep saying that. You just can't talk about them in the same breath as guys like Cam Spencer and Steph Castle and Tristan Newton and Donovan Clingan. Let's spare ourselves that stupidity. Okay. And honestly, I'm pretty sure Dan is as well. I don't even know how to respond to that, David. If I paid you $1 million a year to play basketball, and would you do you feel like you need to hear me say I'm proud of you or other fans? I certainly don't. If I get paid to do something, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability and work my ass off. The only times I ever slack off is if I don't care. If I was playing basketball for a living, which is what these kids are doing, I don't care. What you're like proud of, that's like from 1995. And those are the good old days. I'll be honest with you, man. David, I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. We took Florida to 2-point loss share. We were turned. Yeah, who gives a shit? Do you want to hang a banner about a 2-point loss to Florida? You know how many open shots we missed in that game, too? Should have won that game by 12. Because that's how good our coaching staff is. If teams play, if our coaches have players that have the mentality of them, which I don't think they have right now, we are always in a chance to win it. We're always in a place to win a national championship. I don't think we're in that spot right now. I hope I'm wrong, because guess what I just did this last couple of weeks for work and also for fun. Hopefully UConn's there. I booked all of me and my team's flights and hotels for Final Four, Airbnbs. We're set. I'm in downtown Indy for like a week. So I hope I see some of you guys there if you're going one way or the other, but I'm not confident UConn's going to join me. Yeah, Mark, 1,000%. Good to see you on here. I trust Hurley too, but we're just not getting better. We're just not. It started like this, upward trend trajectory. You're playing some big time schools. You have that big stretch in December. You go 5-1 in those non-conference games. And it's been like, if I had a graph right now, it'd be like, it's like a gradual dissension. Yeah, man, I love him too, but that doesn't we have different perspectives. I respect you like that. Don't take it for what it is. Don't take offense to it. I just don't think, this team has what it takes right now. I hope I'm wrong. Like, it's one of the, listen, I want to change. Honestly, I'll guarantee you this one thing. If UConn makes the Final Four, I'm going to bring my laptop. I have all kinds of mics. We'll do some live stuff, and I will do shows, and it's going to say the Hoops Cap Live, happy to be wrong. Because if I am there covering UConn, it'll be a fantastic time. Because guess who's coming with, I'm not even going to, not going to spoil it. I have a former UConn player in tow coming with me to the Final Four with or without UConn. If it's with UConn, it's going to be lit, to use his words. So have a wonderful evening, everybody. 20 minutes, 10 minutes longer than I thought I would do. I appreciate you guys for jumping on. We'll catch you next time on the Big East Energy Network and on the Hoopscap Live. Don't forget, homefieldapparel.com. Go check it out. I have so much more fun stuff. I can't wait to show you guys. I literally have 2 home field shirts sitting right here. The UConn National Championship for the women. Go get that. I got this old school. Hold on. I'm going to put my mic down. What do we got here? Like, look at that logo. Tell me you don't want this. Sorry. Tell me you don't want this from Home Field. This Connecticut Jonathan shirt. Come on, man. It's starting to get warm now. I just had a nice little heat wave in North Carolina. Starting to wear T-shirts again. No more of this BS snow, right? Holler at your boy. Get him some Home Field apparel. If you need anything from Vancord, make sure you hit them up. Vancord.com, 855-VANCORD to call them up 24/7 for all of your cybersecurity needs. We'll see you next time on the Hoopscap.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.